But let me tell you something, what I will tell you, is that I know by stats that I've been tracking over all salons that we look after, is if this is your current staff here, that's what they do. 1 times wage, 2.5 times wage, 3.2 times wage, up to 4 times wage. I know how much money you've got left in your bank account. I know this is the profit that you have left over. And that's rule of thumb. That's pretty close to it. I mean, you can get that even better if you get your stock bill down or some of your other bills down, or you've got cheap rent somewhere. But the majority of you are sitting in this bracket. Now, I want to share with you some numbers, and hopefully if you can see this, you're going to see where you are on the ladder and where you should be, and what are you going to do to make it get up that ladder. So let's dive in. Let's start right at the bottom as we go. If your staff are doing 1.5 times their wage, right? So if they're doing, like, give or take about 1.5 times their wage, that means at the end of the year you are on, actually I'm going to leave that as a non, because around the world this is universal. You are on minus, let's get me maths together here, guys. Come on, Richard. Minus 13,000 for every 100,000 your business does. So if you're doing 500,000 at the moment, you're losing 65k a year without fail. Yeah, minus 13,000. You want to hope you're not doing more than 100,000, because the more you do, the more you're losing. Pretty bad. If your staff are doing 2 times, then you are going to be losing at the moment. You'll be sitting around a 3,000 profit. That's where you will be. So if your staff are doing 2 times their wage, I can guarantee that you're sitting about 3% profit of your business, and for every 100,000 that you're doing, you get to keep 3 of it. And this is pounds, American, Canadian, New Zealand, it's all the same. That's where you'll sit. So if you're sitting here now thinking, like, where's my money going? Well, the fact is it's going because these guys aren't pulling their weight. Let's go and look at 2.5. You'll end up with roughly around 13,000. Let's move it up a notch. If you're doing 3 times wage, you'll sit with around 20,000. If you've got 3.2, 21,800. If you're on 3.5, 24,500. And of course the biggie, you'll be on 28,000. I want to put 28k here. Now, what I'm saying here, guys, is this ladder here per 100,000 in your business. So if you're doing close to 2, 3, 4, 500,000, just times these by by 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I know and you know what profit you're on. Which means, where are you on this ladder right now? So let's re-engineer. Let's come backwards, right? Let's forget about I don't know what my staff are doing, right? Let's just say you don't. But you know how much profit you've got left over at the end of the year. Like, you know how much money you've got. I've worked all year, there's nothing in the pot. I've worked all year, there's 50,000 in the pot. So what I want to work out is, like, where are you on the ladder? Because you will know exactly what profit you're on now, and you'll know exactly what your staff are doing. So how do you climb the ladder? How do you get yourself from, let's say, 2 times wages, which you know is only going to earn you 3,000 a year per 100,000. So the average salon's going to do what? Close to 400,000? So we'll times that by 4, you're going to pay yourself 12,000 a year for all your efforts. That's not pretty cool, hey? Nowhere near cool, in fact. So you need to work out, how do I climb that ladder? Once you get to 3 times wages, you'll pay yourself roughly 20,000 per 100k. That's whereabouts you'll be. So if you're doing about 150, you'll pay yourself 30,000 a year. If you could break that 200,000 mark, you'll pay yourself 40,000 a year. You'll be sitting on 20% profit. The idea here, guys, is, like, you can see that's pretty standardized. This is rule of thumb. This is like all the salons I've looked after. Like, people say you can't get, like, your wage bill is 40%. Like, really? 40% wage bill, 50% wage bill. I mean, who has that? To me, it comes down to the fact is that if your staff are on higher than a 40% wage bill, let's say that's what your wage bill is, and I've seen some at 66, which really is down here, by the way, guys. Like 66% is what it works out to be. The thing is, if your staff are at that, it means that you're not charging enough, or your average bill is poor, or you haven't got enough bums on seats, or they're slowing it down. We had some coaching with some clients this week that are not where they should be, and there's no profit, and they've got like 10 staff in a big salon and they're struggling. And we go, well, what are you taking? Like, this is the profit you've got. Your staff are sitting there like on about 2 to 2.5 their wages. Yeah, but the average bill's low, or we can't get clients in, or they say they've got to take time. No excuses, guys. Like, you're in charge of this stuff. This comes down to you. Like, you really need to learn how to climb this ladder. So wherever you are at the moment, wherever how much you're paying yourself, remember, these amounts times 100,000. So for example, if you're 3.5, you'll pay yourself 24,500 per 100,000. So if you've got 2 or 3 or 4, that's where you'll be. These facts don't change that much. You can tweak them. You can get your stock bill down and end up with more money. You can get your bills down and end up with more money. But this is quite standardized. Like, you know, 4 times wage, which people say is impossible. I know people who do that all the time. 4 times their wage. Where are you on the ladder? That's what you have to ask yourself. Like, where are you? Like, I'm not paying myself much at all, Richard. I'm paying myself about 13,000 per 100,000. I'm turning over 400,000. I'll times that by 4, and that's your wage for the year. Guys, like 13%. Like, my salon never ever ran under 33%. We have to lift the game. So, how do we do this? So, it's okay here, Richard, you stand here going like, that's your money ladder. Like, we know for a fact that if your staff can perform to a high standard, we did this last week with the client journey. If you remember, we talked about the client journey. That if we get somebody in and we treat them really well, they'll spend more. They'll buy more products, they'll look after you, they'll stay longer, they'll visit more often. So we've got to get the wow factor in. So we've got to also find the right client out there. You know we have a unique system called Pink Sheet, guys. You know we have that. You've got to work your Pink Sheets. Once you get your Pink Sheets, you get the right client coming through the door, which means the average bill rises. Like we cater from salons who have an average bill of close to $400 per client down to something like 56. Like, the wages are still the same. You have to lift your game, and that means you're going to have to give more love to the clients, more training to the team, and do business. This works really, really well. But that, I can guarantee you, and no magic powers needed, I can guarantee you that if you tell me how much you pay yourself, I will know how much your staff are doing. If you tell me how much your staff are doing, I will know how much profit you've got at the end of the year. It's almost predictable. And that is the key. Because if we know it's predictable, we can give you a 30% increase in a year. Because we know which ones to work on. Because if this scenario is true, which I'm sure it is, if you guys can think about where you are, like how much percent do you think your profit is at the end of the year in your profit and loss? How much do you think you pay yourself out of your business, at the end of the year? I bet you if you work across the line, you'll find exactly where your staff are working right now. 3 times wage, 2 times wage, 3.5 times wage. It'll all marry up pretty close. Pretty close, remember. We track this for a reason. Now, we need you to go from here up as high as you possibly can. To work that up there. And I know them lights are pretty light up there, but yeah, that's like 4 times is 28,000, which is where the money is. You start doing $500,000 or $1 million, that's 10 times that. That's 280,000 profit at the end of the year, which is where you should be. At least should be there if you're turnover $1 million. If you turn over $500,000, you should be sitting about 165,000. Like, that's where you should be. If you're turning over $500,000 in your business, I don't care where you are in the world, you should be paying yourself 165,000 as profit. And that's the stats. And if they're not, it means that your staff are either not working to their full availability. They're not as busy as you think they are. They're not doing the best they possibly can. Their retail's poor, the average bill's poor, like everything about it is poor. So we need to know, how, Richard, can I get up here? We have three suggestions for you. 1, you need to learn how to get good quality clients through the door without giving specials. Right? We call it attract. It's the biggest pillar we do. We do it with Pink Sheets. Sorry, Olivia, do you factor an assistant staff reception? Yeah, it's a total wage bill. It's total wage bill because no one ever sits on 3, it's 3.2, 3.1, 3.1 a bit. It sorts it all out. Trust me, you can work the maths out anywhere. This is worked on your wage bill. Yeah? So 3 times like 30%, it's all worked backwards through there. Work it out. Work the figures out for yourself. I'm pretty close. So it's quite simple. You tell me what your staff are doing, I know how much you're paying yourself profit at the end of the year. That is how important it is. So guys, we could attract Olivia, you're killing Attract. Like, how to get new clients through the door. So, Olivia, we spoke to this like a while ago. You got a new staff member 2 months ago, and we filled her up within 2 months. And now you've got another new staff member, and you're going to fill her up in 2 months. And it's that how you fill them up with good quality clients, because they stay. It makes a big difference. So if my stylists are doing 3.5 with the rest of the team, it should be more like 2.5 and 3. So if my stylists are doing 3.5 with the rest of the team, it depends on how many assistants you have. What we try and get them to do more than anything else is assistants, like apprentices, get them off your wage bill, which means get them to at least hit their wage. And they can do that with blow dries, they can do that with colours, get them off the wage. So if you pay them £100, get them earning £100, put some blow dries out for them in a week so they can earn £100. They don't include in the bill at all. Your receptionist, I believe, should be worth their weight in gold. They should be able to encourage the client to come back sooner. Did you know, by the way, guys, if you have a salon doing about £500,000, and over here that's quite standard for us, right? £500,000. If you drag the appointments of your clients out by 1 week, but just by 1 week, right? It should cost you about £150,000. No, true. Like literally. So you get your assistants that are actually running your front of house to encourage people to rebook in, get your rebooks through the roof, make them come back sooner, sell retail. They're going to make you money. They should do. They really should do. That should be your maitre d', the first point of contact. Your retention should be high because of these people. So indirectly, eventually they become irrelevant. So we need to attract, right? We need to get good quality clients through the door. We call it attract. 2, convert. One of the sneakiest ways to make your business grow is your database that you've got now. Learn to talk to them. Learn to get them in sooner. Learn to give them to your juniors who are trying to get through the floor. Learn to give them to your new staff like Olivia did. Like, that's what you do. Your database is worth about $150,000 a year. And if you're not using it properly, we're actually recreating that right at the moment for our clients as we speak. We've had one in there for a year now. It's a year old. Things have changed. So we're now rewriting a whole brand new one of how we can encourage people to come back sooner, spend more in the salon. And 3, deliver. We have 3 massive pillars that we work on. The deliver is when a client walks through that door, I need it to be the same. I don't care about superstars anymore. Like, the superstar stylist has gone. We know it's gone. They're never going to be as passionate as you. They're never going to be wanting it as badly as you. So we need to take all that off them and give it to us. And then what we tend to do then is we control it. I got told this like 15, 20 years ago. I brought this over to the Central Coast. I systemised my business from day one. In year 1, when I had my salon in Erina, year 1, we took over $500,000 and paid me $165,000 in year 1. And everyone goes, oh, you've got to wait 3 years for it to happen. No, you don't. You don't have to wait. You can follow the norm, the benchmarks, the average. Who wants to be average? I don't want to be average. I want to be above average, which means I strive for it. And then when we get the numbers like this, we tweak them, which means how can I do something a bit better? How can I make my staff sell more products without actually pushing the client? How can I give more love to the client so they get a better experience, so they tell their friends and they spend more? If you've ever been to a restaurant, and it's been impeccable from start to finish, and I mean the meal's good, the service is good, they fill your wine glass without blinking, and you think, wow, them 2 hours have been the best ever. How many of you query the bill? Not many. Like, you just don't. Do you want dessert? Yeah, come on, bring it on. I don't want this night to end. Just keep bringing it on. But when you start getting like, oh, the bread's cold or the wine's warm, and you start getting picky, and that's your clients are the same. So you need to make sure that it is impeccable time after time after time after again. The amount of times I've been to good restaurants and absolutely loved it, went the second time and it's like rubbish. I never went back a third time. It all adds up, guys. It really does. Attract, convert, deliver. That's what we do here, and we do it really well. Now, you've seen here that we can predict how much money you're making by how much your staff are doing for you. So this is your homework, guys. Dive into your computer system. I don't care which one you're using, and find out what your staff are using. Or, let's be really cheeky. Let's work backwards. Find out how much profit you're making in your business. Don't forget, this number in the ladder, number in the middle, is per 100,000. Hey, Christy, how are you? I can guarantee you, if you're running a 20% profit of your profit and loss from your accountant this year, like 20%, you're earning yourself 20,000 per 100,000 that you're doing. So if you're a 500,000 business, you're paying yourself 100,000. We know that, and I bet you your staff are doing 3 times their wage. Like it's almost universal. This has been using this for years. It's rule of thumb. It's like, it's going to be 1 or 2% out, but no big deal, which means you now know when I have a bad profit that my staff performance is bad. Now, this is where you come in. You've got to coach these guys. Like, you don't go nagging them to sell more retail. Who wants to buy retail and who wants to sell retail? That's not what we do. Your job is to figure out the 3 ways to get them busy. New clients, clients that you've got to come back more often, and the love of the client, the wow factor, so the client just spends more because they're enjoying it. Like 3 ways. And this is really simple to do. So guys, if you've not seen this before, it's pretty unique. We've been using it here for the last 15 years. When I've been a salon owner, we know instantly if my profits dropped, I start looking at my team. And then individually we start looking at what's happening with the team. You know, are clients dropping off? Are they not doing retail? My job then is to coach them. My system is broken. I then have to tweak my system. It's as easy as that. You know, I can sit on a beach, sitting there with my computer open, and when I know how much has gone in the till and how much is profit, I know exactly what's wrong with my staff and what is wrong with the client journey. That's power. We talked about that last week. If you want to see about the client journey, we did it last week, last Friday. It'll be on Facebook somewhere. Check it out. This one is all about, okay, this is down to you. This is your role as a salon owner to realize that the numbers matter. And 9 out of 10 times, most of you guys, I'm going to be really honest, are lazy. You've employed staff that you've got. They're not busy. You moan that they're not trained. You moan that they're not on the floor. Whose fault is it they're not on the floor? It's yours. Whose fault is it that retail's not being sold? It's yours. Whose fault is it that they're not busy enough to earn you profit? It's yours. It's not theirs. They just want to turn up to work and do a work and go home. And guess what? That's what we want them to do. Or we could be the old school owner and go, okay, we want to hand out referral cards, go on Facebook, go and do some marketing, go around in the shops. But guess what? You're treating them to like build their own business up. Do you really want that? They'll leave you and open up themselves. They're thinking, I'm building my marketing for my own little column and they're taking all the money. No, we want them to turn up and go home. That's what we want. Our job is to fill them with good quality clients, which means we've got to build the system, which means if you have the power to learn how to attract clients into your salon at will, convert clients in your database to come into any stylist at will, and deliver a remarkable service where the service lifts the average bill at will, guess who has the power of the business? Who do you think's in control? You. You lose a stylist, you turn the tap back on. Once you're full, you can back the tap back off. It's as simple as that. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this today. Nice and quick, I'm going to try and get these in 20 minutes if I can each Friday. So here we go. Hopefully, if you've not seen this, if you've just joined on, watch it to the end. It's really, really important. So guys, one question at the end of this. If you want to see how we did this in a webinar, just write webinar and we'll get you a link to you somehow. If you feel that, hey, you know what? This is something I really want to know more about this, Richard. Just hit me up. Just PM me. Just ping me and go, help, talk, whatever you want to say. It's as easy as that. Guys, I'm out of here. It's really important. So if you're sitting here right at the moment and your profit is not where it should be, there's only one person to decide who it is, and that's you. You've got to decide that it comes down to your staff not being busy enough, and you need to have a plan of action to do that. Guys, I'm going to get out of here as fast as I can, otherwise I'll waffle crazy and keep you all late for work. Go and have the absolute best day you possibly can and get to know your numbers. Simple, hey, like really simple stuff. Catch you later, guys. Thank you.